acting is fun, right? Well, for the most part, as demanding as it might be, we imagine that the answer is yes. It's also pretty damn well paid, so actors shouldn't really have too much to complain about in general, but they still do. And to be fair, they have a good right to do so sometimes. Acting can be boring, embarrassing, awkward, painful, physically demanding, emotionally draining, and a whole lot more when it comes to the negative aspects of the job. Those kinds of things have led to a number of actors coming out and saying that they hated shooting certain scenes for movies and television shows, and that's what this video is all about. Here are 10 unforgettable scenes actors hated shooting. Neighbors. In the 2014 comedy movie Neighbors, James Franco's younger brother Dave had to film his first ever sex scene. His character, Pete Regazzoli, did the deed with Halston Sage's Brooke Shy, and Franco had openly spoken about how awkward he found the scene to be, thanks in no small part to a physical imperfection he woke up with that day. Franco said, "You have 20 crew members who are also watching you do it, and of course, for me, I woke up that morning and had a giant pimple on my ass. I had to go to the makeup artist, who I had also met that week. Can we go into the other room and you'll put makeup literally on my ass and We do, however, find it weird that he found the sex scene awkward, but was happy to publicly disclose information about his pimply butt. Game of Thrones. Former Game of Thrones star Jack Gleason's character Joffrey did some pretty crazy things in his time on the show. He threatened women, killed a prostitute, and famously ordered Ned Stark's death.
Every time I use it, it'll be like cutting off Ned Stark's head all over again.
However, Gleason doesn't cite any of those scenes as being the most awkward he had to shoot. He actually says pretending to be dead while shooting his final season 4 scenes was horrible. Gleason said, "My eyes had to be kept open by 2 people because I just couldn't do it. It was the director of photography and the director who came over and were like, 'Jesus Christ, Jack, come on.' They literally held my eyes open so they could take a CGI shot of my face. So that's my level of ineptitude." Guardians of the Galaxy. If there's one word that most people think of to describe 2014's Guardians of the Galaxy, it's probably fun. It was a whole lot of fun to watch, so we imagine that it was all fun and games during filming, but that wasn't necessarily the case. Dave Bautista, who played Drax the Destroyer, found one scene particularly hard. After badly losing a fight against Ronan, Drax nearly drowned in a pool of yellow liquid before being saved by fellow Guardian Groot. At the time, Bautista was recovering from a severe cold and could barely speak, but he was required to be shirtless for the scene. He ended up freezing and covered in goo while, at the same time, being mocked by a CGI raccoon to rub salt in his proverbial wounds. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a cult classic television show that was loved by millions of fans around the world. The core cast stuck around for all 7 seasons between 1997 and 2003, so they obviously enjoyed working on the show, but there was one particular kind of scene they all hated filming. Anthony Head's Rupert Giles delivered so many long expository prologues in the high school library that the young cast grew tired of filming there. Show creator Joss Whedon said, "When we finally blew up the school at the end of season 3, and were in the library for the last time, everybody breathed a great sigh of relief, because these became the bane for us when we were filming. To go back into this space and talk yet again about what the peril was going to be." Hot Fuzz. Football, or soccer as you may know it, is the most popular game in the world, and nobody takes it more seriously than the Brits. If a Brit supports a particular team, they don't ever want to be seen wearing the jersey of another team. That notion, of course, applies to British actors too. There's a scene in 2007's Hot Fuzz, in which Nick Frost's PC Danny Butterman is trying to break through the tough exterior of his new sergeant, Simon Pegg's Nicholas Nick Angel. In this scene, Frost was forced to wear the jersey of the Bristol Rovers football team. As a die-hard West Ham United fan, Frost absolutely hated wearing the blue and white of Rovers, and would have been much happier wearing the claret and blue of his beloved Hammers. The Walking Dead. Playing Maggie on The Walking Dead means that Lauren Cohan has had to take part in some pretty brutal scenes, not least Negan's recent bludgeoning of her character's husband's head with a baseball bat covered in barbed wire. But there was another scene in an earlier season that she hated filming so much that it nearly made her quit the show. Cohan explains herself by saying, "The script where Maggie has to give the character Laurie a C-section to save the baby that becomes baby Judith. We all live in the same apartment building. We're ridiculously incestuous in this cast. So I go 2 doors down and I knock on Stephen Yeun's door and I said, I have to leave the show. I don't think I can do it." Thankfully, she managed to film it and remains a core cast member to this day. White Bird in a Blizzard. Although Shailene Woodley has lost her on-screen virginity no less than 5 times, the actress still finds the whole sex scene thing a bit uncomfortable. No more so than when she filmed her sex scenes in 2014's White Bird in a Blizzard. In the movie, her character, Kat, explored her sexuality with her handsome but dim-witted neighbor and schoolmate Phil, played by Shiloh Fernandez. Regarding her experiences on the set of this movie in particular, Woodley has said, "It's always an awkward situation when you have to pretend to be intimate with someone that you're not actually intimate with. I think the awkwardness probably lends itself to these great virginity scenes. Every cloud, huh?" Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad was arguably the best television show of the new millennium, and its star, Bryan Cranston, was absolutely fantastic in it.
You're his boss. This only works when they're scared of you, remember?
Cranston clearly enjoyed his role as Walter White, but it wasn't always plain sailing for the star. Cranston has claimed that he was severely emotionally tested by the season 2 scene in which Walt stood by while Jane, played by Kristen Ritter, choked to death on her own vomit. But he's also cited a very physically demanding scene from the season that he really hated filming. It's the scene in which Walt and Jesse kidnap Saul and force him to dig his own grave.
Siempre soy amigo del cartel! Shut up! I just speak English.
Cranston said it was like 9 degrees without the wind chill factor, and it was really windy, and sand was kicking up and blowing in our faces. I'm supposed to hold the gun out, and I'm so cold that I'm shaking, and I'm like, oh my god. That was probably the toughest scene to do. Captain America Civil War. Filming Captain America Civil War, the biggest superhero ensemble movie to date, sure sounds like a lot of fun, and we imagine that for the most part it was, but one actor really didn't enjoy filming his action scenes, and that was Chadwick Boseman, who played T'Challa, aka Black Panther. He was told that some of his in-costume stunt scenes were gonna give him trouble breathing. "You mean it's gonna cut off my air supply?" said a shocked Boseman, when referring to the scenes in question. Boseman has also talked about how he was forced to get into a zen space in order to get through all of the in-costume stunts, mainly because he had sweat running down his body and was unable to scratch itches. Well, he'll have to get used to it. He starts filming the Black Panther solo movie at the start of 2017. Carrie. In 2013, Stephen King's classic horror Carrie was remade, with Chloe Grace Moritz playing the titular character made so famous by Sissy Spacek back in 1976. And the most famous scene in the movie is undoubtedly when Carrie gets covered in pig's blood by her classmates at her high school prom. The scene seems to last forever, and Moritz has spoken openly about how much she hated filming it, telling MTV in an interview how she was under no illusions that she was playing the classic character at that point. The actress said, "I'm definitely playing Carrie now, because I'm covered in blood, I'm freezing cold, and I'm uncomfortable." Well, thanks for watching our video about 10 unforgettable scenes that actors hated shooting. Did you enjoy this video? Do you know of any other memorable scenes that actors hated shooting? Have your say in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more great videos like this one.